Hello. Good morning. Welcome to another art stream. It is snowing outside. It's so pretty. I'm gonna have to go out there eventually myself into the snows and be like, whoa. Because I like it when it snows. Hello, what are you doing? Wrong key, please. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to get used to, I've still got my brain in Storyboard Pro mode. I have to switch program modes. Yes, thank you for update available. Anyways, oh, I messed that up. I hope that you all are doing well. And this is at 40%. Not helpful. Today, we are working on Eldritchrune stuff. And get used to my hotkeys. And specifically, we're going to try and use the correct things for once. Going to be doing character shading today, at least on the first part. I'm getting pretty close to finishing this thing, I think. I'm hoping I can do that by the end of the week, if I'm lucky. Well, maybe not that much, maybe like this or something. So little bits stand out, bits and bobs. Anyways, if you're joining me, I hope that you are doing well as can be in these times. Yeah, the snow is really nice. I like the snow. At least especially if I don't have to go anywhere in it. I still need to be able to like drive in it sometime. I need better tires. I keep forgetting to get the better tires when I should get them. But that's okay. I don't have to go anywhere with my car anytime soon. So that is alright. Okay. Right now we're just putting down base things and then we'll go back and do the shading for everybody. At least on this first part. I still have to do the backgrounds and stuff on the second part of this one, but this is like 9 pages, so there should be plenty to last us for today. Chris, don't do it. You're gonna fall into the hole. You're gonna fall into the hole. This always feels nice when I'm like, okay, we're past the slow parts into a faster part. Okay. Yeah, I think because the backgrounds here are so dark, we can go a little bit darker on Chris here. Whew. Yeah, if you're watching along, I hope that you're doing alright. The only problem with it was, good grief, stop that. And the mouse is hiding under the tablet at this point. My weird little setup. Whew. Yeah, the only problem with the snow is that it makes all the air very dry, which makes me thirsty. I kind of wonder if we should have Jevil be a darker color. So these all character-based stuff? Yeah. We'll have to see if Jevil does better with a darker shades. All just balancing out all these values or whatever. A little bit of music. And Alfie's has been doing okay. She ate her greens recently, so that's always nice. I like it when she eats her greens. That's what she's supposed to do. But much like me, she's not super fond about eating her vegetables. Let's see. Just speed on through these guys. Okay, just that one is that color. Okay. Sometimes I have two bases that are overlapping or whatever. Just try and make things easier on myself. Actually, yeah, I might need to go back and fix that up, but we can do that in a sec. Also, man, I tried to make some new brushes. I didn't realize I didn't have much in the way of a sand brush, but I don't know if I really like the one I cooked up either. There's probably some better ones people have made. Oop. That I just did not have. I didn't really have the time to go looking. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna use what I got. Unfortunately, Chris not got one of their arms at the moment. They've been disarmed. Oh, alright, that's got color. Okay. Oh, it's all the same base. Okay. But, you know, I wish I could have like another extra cam looking outside so you can watch the snow falling, because it's so pretty. I love the sound of snow. How it's just like, I don't know, very quiet and calming. That's why I want to go out into it. We're gonna have to do some fancy shading on this panel in particular. This is gonna be a bit of a wild one, as you might guess. Okay. There's not much going on. I have to go back in here with special effects and stuff like that later. Hey, stop that. What are you doing that for? That's not what I requested. Okay. I know that one's going to be white anyway, so might as well do it now. Faster! Okay. Let's see. If we're doing what color is Jevil? I wonder if he'd be better off darker, or if that's gonna blend. If that's gonna blend in with the rest of the background, I don't know. Once we do the shading on him. No, I probably should make him like a shade darker, because Susie is usually a shade darker too. Then Chris is the lighter shades. And of course, Ralph stays the darkest ones. Is he the spook? Spookies. Yeah, good grief, we're all out of order here. Whatever, we'll make it work. Yeah, this page is gonna have to involve some crazy shading. Okay. In general, this whole two-parter is gonna have heavy effects with all the like wind stuff happening. Motion blur, we love it. Let me see here real quick. Whoop. Whoop. I wanted to check one thing. Okay, no, we're good. We're scooting away. Yeah, I really hope it's not too dark in terms of shading. We'll do our best to make it work. Okay. Let's see, usually if Chris is this color, then I think Susie's this color. Yeah, that's about right. Now I'm kind of hopping all over. Oh, we gotta do Lancer too. He's up there. Poor Lancer. Keep forgetting about him. We'll do Lancer real quick since we saw him there. He's still just a little guy. Just a cute little guy. Okay. Ooh. Water. Let's go back and do Rouse as well. I'll be glad to have this comic done because it feels like it's just been taking forever. I'm ready to be past it. I'm ready to move on to the next thing. And I know which scene I'll do next after this one, aside from like ending stuff, but good grief, this has just been an extensive wait on this one. Doesn't even seem like it should have taken that long, it just has, somehow. I'm gonna go through and do like, yeah, let's see, oh, there we go. I'll do shading on them one at a time. I forgot, did I do the page colors on the other ones? I don't think I did. Let's go do that so they stand out a little bit. They're following a paper trail. Ah, it's a reference, not really. Not really. Is this a secret thing? No, not really. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah, little shadings under all of it too. Okay, speaking of, let's start on that. We will just do this for one character at a time. Or one shade at a time, rather. Because that is ideal. Or at least that is how I do it. It does feel good to finally be at this part of the process, though. Again, it feels like I was stuck in the roughs and stuff forever. We'll do the blacks on this later as well. I also feel like I finally found a drawing position that I think works out for me. And I can stick with this one. At least I hope so. Something that is good to my neck and my wrist and my arms. All three together. Okay. Yes, if you're watching, please say hello. I like to talk to the people while I'm streaming the art. It makes everything go faster. Oh, hello, hello. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here. I feel like whenever I I'll say like his face proportions are all like kind of wonky every time. It's kind of hard to pin it down. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was a nice feeling. As much as people are like, do art for yourself, which you absolutely should. That should be your primary reason. It's like, but I also want to share it with people. And I hope they like it. Yeah, exactly. Even if it's just communication with yourself. Usually you want to communicate it with other people. Share something. I feel like the only times I was like drawing for first and foremost myself was when I was like a little kid. And I wasn't able to share art on the internet. And even then, I still liked when people read my comics. You draw something while blindfolded and put it in a safe. Is it still art? I feel like that somebody has tried that kind of thing before, like as a conceptual piece. Like, is this art? No one has seen it, not even the artist. I don't know, that might be kind of interesting. The True Mystery Box. J.J. Abrams. Eat your heart out. The equivalent of if a tree falls in the forest, sort of thing. The ultimate loot box. Loot no one has ever seen, literally. Of course, the problem with drawing blindfolded is that it looks a little scribbly. Which is fine. Sometimes it's cool. Like drawing blind contours is pretty cool, actually, so it'd have to be like a blind contour thing. We put that box inside another box. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming to the stream. We are working away on Eldritchrune. Somehow, some way, we will get it done. And I'll mail that box to myself. When it arrives, I won't open it. I love how that movie really, really happened by complete accident and kind of a lot of heartbreak, and yet it's like people just quote it so much because they just kind of that was the weirdness of how the movie was made. I saw that in theaters. 3 seconds from now. I don't think so. I think Toby will say something first. Be better anyway, because I want to take some time off work. Yeah, they just winged it, because the deal of it is that this was going to be a more traditional Disney film, with, full musical thing, love interest, blah, blah, blah. Sting was going to do, like, all of the music for it, and, for whatever reason, they decided it was not working at all, and just kind of had to do a lot of stuff from scratch, and so, like, they kind of wrote it off. And so they're just like, okay, we're just going to do whatever is funny and cool. Here we go. Oh, how dare you be late. You have to be in the chat. Dun, dun, dun. We're kidding, by the way. It's a joke. But yeah, they didn't really have a script. They're just kind of like, alright, we'll just board it. Is it funny? Sure, we'll do it. Which is why it was kind of an odd movie out. Because, yeah, it was a little irreverent and didn't quite take itself seriously. It's like, okay, if she falls off the platform, how about if there's just a giant trampoline at the bottom and that's how she gets back up? And we're like, sure, giant trampoline. This is why you get that great joke of, for the last time, we did not order a giant trampoline. Yeah, could have told me that before I set it up. Like, that's such a good joke. And it's just like off the cuff. There's a trampoline salesman, obviously. Just very, very silly stuff like that. Alright, what's this one? Nice, nice. Susie's like, gasp. They all gaspify because Chris fell down the hole. Going to interview me. I don't have any prep, so I might not have very good answers, but I'll do my best. Well, shouldn't interview be spelled with a N in there? Well, 60 minutes. And I say that is many chapters. Well, again, 70 is still many chapters. What soul color do you think the secret bosses for chapter 3 and 4 are? Not sure. I'm still not certain how chapter 3's boss is going to go. I find it suspicious that Sham is like, you can't beat it unless you have the Shadow Mantle. Where's the Shadow Mantle? Oh gosh, I don't know. Looks like you can't win. Like, that's suspicious. We're going to have to come back to that. Yeah, well, that's the problem. You don't want AI slop. Apparently, something that works to help get AI slop out of your searches, curse in your search thing. I tried this and it worked. I can't believe it. I can't believe it worked, but it does. It's so funny. But also, soul color for chapter 4, purple. I don't know if he's talking about chapter 3 or 4. He just says upcoming boss. Could be 3, could be 4. My guess is maybe 3. You got censored a bunch there. But, I don't know. I'm not sure which one he's talking about. Lancer continues to just be a little guy. He's the best. But, yeah, I don't know. Purple? Just a guess. Probably depends on, where chapter 4 is going to be located, and I think it's a 50-50 chance of either being the church or the holiday house, with a longer walk around Light World section, either before or after. The reason why I'm an Eldritch cutie. That's not how that works. And the reason why I'm kind of leaning more towards it being Noelle's house is because I think the walk around is going to be at the start of the day, and that's going to include church. Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I'm not a Chris Knight believer. His saying that chapter 3 plays different than the other ones. And it's like, okay, if Chris has made all of these because they're the Knight, why is this one that we see them make the odd one out? The one that's not plot heavy, but is taking place in their house? Like, okay, typo. Switching, good boy. But, yeah, I think chapter 3 sounds like it's going to be more like mechanics heavy, not very plot heavy. I mean, he described it as like frivolous. So that sounds like it's going to be kind of going to play a little differently, which is fun because again, we can try new things. I have guesses about what new things we might try, but yeah, that is one of the reasons why I'm not a Chris Knight believer, is him mentioning multiple times, hey, this is a bit of an odd one out from usual chapters, and it goes back to normal chapter 4. And I'm like, the one that Chris made is the one that's the odd one out? Okay. That kind of indicates to me that the person who made the fountain, like, it knows what they're capable of. It's the water level, but cool. But that doesn't quite 100% know what they're doing. Chris, where the hell are we in the water temple? By that I mean the TV temple. And the fridge, all ice physics, no! Honestly, if we do Noelle's house in chapter 4, I feel like that's where all our ice physics are going to show up. Ice Palace, oh no! There's all these, like, Christmas decorations. Now this is the Ice Palace. The world's longest sliding ice puzzle. No. Oh, that would be awful. Oh yeah, I definitely think the tone of it will be relaxed, but he said that's not heavy on plot. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be jokes and stuff too. I'm sure there will be plenty of jokes. Jokes a many. That's just how it go. I'll be honest, I'm not completely sold on the entire house being in the Dark World. At the very least, I don't think we're going to be recruiting from the entire house, because people like make the joke, oh, you know, Chris is going to empty out the house and stuff, and I'm like, I don't actually think they're going to do that. Like, I don't actually think Toriel will just let them take all of the furniture in the house. I don't think she's going to be okay with that. So, I think that that's going to be like centered around the TV. And I don't think she would object to Chris removing the TV from the house because she doesn't really use it. She doesn't seem to use the TV much anyway. And I think afterwards she's going to be like, whatever, you know, if you want to take this, Chris, get rid of it, especially if kill your TV happens and it gets broken. Like, I don't think she would object to Chris taking the TV. I think she's going to object to, like, Chris taking everything else out of the house. Like, come on. It just doesn't really make sense. It's a funny joke, but I think they're already kind of pushing it, like emptying out the computer lab. People are going to notice that eventually. So I can definitely see Chris taking the TV. I think most of the Darkners you can recruit are going to be in the TV, centered around the TV. The one bit outside the TV that makes me think otherwise is the Ginger Guard that was mentioned, but that is a piece of armor. That's not a Darkner. I've seen people describe that as a Darkner, and I'm like, no, guys, that's clearly the description is a piece of armor, and that would be included in Chris's ball of junk. They're not taking that to the storage closet. So yeah, I think most of the areas we're going to be visiting are like TV channel related. We've already shown like 3 just from, Susie flipping through channels, and then there's also the possible Western one that may or may not show up. We don't know. But I'm not sold on the entire house is going to be used. I'm like, I don't actually think that's the case. I don't think we're going to see the flowers in the trash can. Sorry. There is that little cup, but the little cup looks like it could be from either the church or the holiday house because that's a solo cup. That's the kind of thing you would like see at a church or like a house party. And I think that guy's supposed to be from chapter 4 anyway, if I recall correctly. Yeah, little cup guys like you would get that in a house party. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you could have that either at a church or at a house party. I've seen them both ways. If your church is, I mean, you could have a party in a church, Sometimes people do like little church get-togethers. And in that case, you need some temporary cups. You get those big solo cups for the sick fruit juice. Thank you for chilling to the stream. Alright, I need to do a little stretch break. Since I think it's my time for stretch breakings. Yeah, any kind of public event, that'll do. So that is what that's where I think they're showing up. I don't think they're from chapter 3. Time for stretchies. Ugh. But yeah, I don't know what else from the house they would conceivably show up that Chris could recruit from. That's also kind of why I'm leaning a little bit more towards the holiday house for chapter 4 than the church. Because I think something that people need to consider when being like, oh, what'll be a cool dark world, is not just, oh, this will be a cool place for some plot, but also where can you reasonably recruit from? Where can Chris and Susie remove a bunch of stuff and put it into the closet? Because that's, the recruitment mechanic seems kind of important. And you could potentially do it in the church if you have a church basement or a church attic that old stuff's stored in. But I think you could then also do it from storage in the holiday house basement. Okay, you can remove a bunch of things from there. I don't think Toriel would be okay with removing Cheriel. If Cheriel is there, it would not be something recruitable. It would not be a person. Cheriel. Add. I don't think Toriel's gonna be sure, you can take my beloved chair that I've been, using for years at this point and stuff it in the closet. I'm fine with this. Oh, stretchies. Ooh. Gotta make sure I stretch proper. Ugh. I don't think Chris is going to be wheeling Cheriel down the street to the school. As funny as that would be. Chair probably can't even be wheeled. It's probably one of those old chairs that takes 2 guys to move. Move my wrist. Sidley patience. Susie can carry Cheriel herself. The next Susie be Chris, why are we stealing your mom's chair? She doesn't know yet that darkeners are objects. Hello, thanks for coming by. I'm doing a little stretch break before we get back into shading and stuff. Gotta do my stretch breaks. Oh boy, getting over it. That's a time. Yeah, my joints are popping. That is what is popping, unfortunately. I'm old. Blah. But that's okay. Gotta stretch to keep things in shape. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm getting slowly closer and closer to the end of this one. Alright, be right back for a few more stretches. Ugh. Alrighty. We return. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think it looks good. It certainly has been in the works for a while. But yeah, basically, the fog is coming. What? No, right now the snow is what's coming. It's the snow. But yeah, basically, I don't think we're going to be recruiting from anywhere but the TV, so. Chris is basically just going to load the TV into their little wagon and take that on down to the storage closet. We know that there's recruits from Chapter 3. Because the little shadow guys are there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they do stuff, it's going to be stuff like under Asriel's bed. Should be more paper trail stuff. But basically, I don't think Chris is emptying the house of anything that Troy will be like, sure, you can take all of our stuff. Heck, I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced that Undyne is going to show up in the Dark World in Chapter 3. I know that feels like it's a given, and I think Chris definitely intended for it to try and get Undyne to show up. I don't know for sure that she's actually going to do it. Oops. Getting right into it. Lancer there. I'm actually kind of more inclined to think that it might be Asgore instead. I switcheroo. There we go. Can we get all of the Susie shadings for this section? That one. Yeah, okay. Now we'll go back to that. I don't know. I don't like... it really doesn't seem like they have much time for it. I don't know what they would have gotten or where they would have put it. I mean, maybe, yeah, they grabbed some stuff from, like, under Asriel's bed. Like, my main thought of, like, oh, the little shadow guys, they look like they should be, like, jazz singers. And we know that Asriel has, like, jazz CDs under his bed. So I'm like, okay, maybe that comes from that. But, yeah, I don't know when Chris would have grabbed that. Just take on all of your brother's stuff. I think you'd need G.OGG before you get to the A and the S. You missed a letter there. Yeah, maybe we'll get enough music to spell out WD Gaster, but we need the G before we get to the A and the S. Don't forget G. Oh, thank you. You've noticed a little something interesting. That's okay. I got what you were putting down. I was just like, I think you need a G for his name to spell out all the OGGs. Oh, you're not dumb. It's easy to forget. But yeah, maybe so. But I don't know when that would come up. Probably someplace hard to find. Toby spells out every keyboard control. Ugh. Toby, would you like to turn on sticky keys? Best way to practice facial expressions is to do them. I don't know if anybody shares my undying doubts. But I'm sorry, I have undying doubts. I do. Susie's tough because she got a snoot. Undying the undoubting. Indeed. I just find it weird that she hasn't shown up already, I guess. Like, this should be like, she should be on this like super fast because that's what she's wanted. She wants like a crime to bust. And hey, here is a crime. I know, we've seen her bench press cars, so where is she? Like, you watch, like, you know, Toriel calls the police and it's like, oh, it took me a while to get through to you. Somebody, you know, slashed the tires to the car. Please come as soon as you can. And then she goes to the living room and pulls out her book, and then like a bunch of time passes and she falls asleep and like all the lights are out. The movie is done on the TV. Like, where is Undyne? Well, she should have been there by now. Because I'm like, what is she doing? Said she would be right there, and then like it seems like an hour or two has passed. So I think whatever was keeping her busy is still keeping her busy. I know, it just seems really weird to me. It seems like she would be there a lot sooner. Filed the insurance report and left like a real cop. Oh no. No. Didn't even stop in to say hello. Undyne. I don't know, somebody mentioned like maybe Asgore would show up. Because he's got like, he might have a old police scanner or something from his time on the force. So it might be interesting to see a scenario where like he and Undyne both show up, and because, you know, he's worried about his family being in trouble. Oh no, there's a criminal, I gotta come in and save the day, and then maybe Toriel will forgive me and all that kind of stuff. And then you know, happens to get there when Undyne does, and Undyne's like, okay, you can go check on your family and I'll check out the crime scene. Because, you know, she's the cop. And then Asgore steps inside and we know how it goes from there. Yeah, she, like, Toriel says that it took her a while to get through. Something was like, causing a problem, apparently. But once she had gotten through, they said, okay, we'll be there as soon as we can. And apparently as soon as we can is still not hours later, because definitely time has passed since she made the call. Yeah, maybe the wet nose bandits got... Well, they did escape, probably. We let them out. Napstablook was Napstablook. I'll get there right away. I don't know. Maybe I should clean up around here first. Takes like 2 hours to get over. The wet nose bandits. I mean, it's definitely clear that Chris was trying to get her attention, because we've had multiple instances where we can like talk to Undyne and be like, hey, there's a dark world, you should come and do something about that. And she brushes them off. So obviously I think Chris was trying to get her attention. I just don't know if they succeeded. Thwarted again. Weird ruins parallel. Like, Undyne, when will you get your cool Dark World adventure? We don't know if it'll happen. Although I imagine, like, anybody we missed in, you know, the real world might, if there's a festival Dark World that shows up, which feels like that's being set up, then any, you know, Lightners we missed are going to get their Dark World chance to shine there. They could be different. They seem pretty chill. They honestly don't seem as depressed as they are in Canon or in Undertale. But it's hard to tell. I mean, maybe they are. Like, the police aren't really feeling up to it right now, kind of thing. Just like, no, leave me alone. But circumstances may be different, especially since the Metaton's really different. I guess so is Maddie. Does she have another name other than, you know, Mad Mew Mew or Mad Dummy? I think people just thinking to call her Maddie. I mean, we have a good deal of control over Chris. I don't know if we know for sure if Chris can choose our options of what to say, because it seems like there are some instances where, like, the option is something they really don't want. It seems weird they would give that option if they had control over the options in general. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, in the case of the weird root, that is us basically, yeah, manipulating Noelle through Chris. And Chris obviously does not like that. Like, for all people like, oh, Chris hates the player, blah, blah, blah. Not super clear on that, but it is clear they did not like manipulating Noelle, because if you are given any opportunity to abandon the root, Chris seems enthusiastic about doing so. Like, proceed versus, yeah, I'll do the puzzle. Like, they do not want to actually do that route. Yeah, I think the relationship is a lot more complex than just, oh, I hate it, oh, I love it. Like, but I am of the mind that Chris asked to be possessed and then was like, oh, maybe this wasn't the best idea. In that way that, you know, a teenager is like, I'm going to make this major decision about my body and not think through the consequences. And then they get the consequences and they're like, oh no, this was not very smart because I'm a teenager and I didn't think through it, but now I'm stuck with it and I don't want to tell anybody, so I'm gonna deal with it. Basically, I think that they're like, again, I think it's something that they asked for, and then they kind of regret asking for it, but don't feel like they can do much about it now. They just have to kind of deal with it and hope it turns out okay. But I think they're now also a little scared. Oh, like, oh no, what if this doesn't turn out okay? What if I end up like Spamton and basically die once this thing leaves? Yeah. They specifically requested this because they're like, oh, I need this help, and then they're like, oh, this thing is not all powerful either. Crud. Because I think if they really, really, really did not want it and wanted the player gone ASAP, they'd be they could do things to make that happen. But it seems like they're begrudging, like, okay, this is the situation and I'm just gonna do what I can with it. And I just think it provides like an extra interesting layer if they asked to be in that situation without really thinking through, again, how that would play out. Because that's what teenagers do. They make kind of snap decisions based on emotional states and then are like, oh. And then obviously don't really want to admit they were wrong or misjudge something. Because, you know, that's a scary thought. So they just kind of keep going and deal with it. Especially if their own soul is not in play anymore. It's like, well, I have to do this. I'm stuck with it. But my main worry is I worry that like Chris is going to be like, oh, do my friends actually like me for me, or do they just like me because the thing controlling me is making me do things that make them like me? And I'm pretty sure if they asked me, their friends like, we don't care about that. We like you, but now Chris has this doubt in their mind. Oh yeah, that's a good video. I think the brain rot might still be a little high in regards to Noelle and Gaster's theme, but if there's any connections to be made there, it makes sense because, yeah, I think what sets Noelle apart is her game-breaking ability. That's also why I'm kind of more inclined to believe that the Weird Root is just Noelle exclusive because of that ability of hers. And that's honestly a big enough thread to follow on its own without like throwing that in with every character we might join with. Not that it's impossible, it certainly could happen, but I'm inclined to believe it's exclusive to Noelle. That is where my thoughts are at the moment. Yeah, I think the fact that she's known for finding like little video game secrets and how to break things is going to be important. Going to be a necessary thing. Okay. Lots of stuff with Chris going on here. Well, that's fine. I just can't comment on that. Knowing the video game secrets. Speaking of video game secrets, Chris is stumbling across some. Whether they want to or not. Come on, Wrist. Be nice to me. Be nice to me. Yeah, basically, if there is some kind of weird route in Chapter 3, I don't think it's going to involve killing anybody, honestly. I think that would go pretty far against what Toriel, the way you can manipulate Toriel that way. Heck, I'm pretty certain at this point that, yeah, we'll probably see Toriel in some capacity in Chapter 3. Is she gonna be a party member like Noelle is temporarily? I don't know. Or is she just gonna be present but not a party member? Oh, I have a doodle. I Blue Dino, I already did one. Do you want me to do it again? I'd have to pull it up. I already did one. It's in color. I can show my Toriel Dark World version if you all want to see it. I can go find the file. Okay, because I gotta say I've already done it. Yeah, it's somewhere on my Tumblr. Again, I can draw it again if you want. I would just have to go look up what I did. It is your decision. So if you want me to doodle that one again, I'll pull up my reference. Susie doing the Chris, where are we pose. Okay, let's see here. I think my stream doodle page is over here. Let's find my bit. I'm trying to remember how that one goes too. I think she's like... Gosh, I can't remember this by memory. And she's like this. Let me move her over here a little bit. She has room. Yeah. Her arm is kind of out like this. These silly poses. I'm snapping my neck around to look at you, Chris. Where the heck are we? And she's got like her boots. And then Chris just standing there while she's posed like this. Okay, I think I got it right. I hope I did. Yes, that's my Dark World tutorial design. Everybody does her as like you know, a witch or a queen. I'm like, I think she should be like a cook, like a teacher cook. I think that'd be cool. Okay. Alright, thank you. Alright, here's where the hell are we? Susie. For the doodle request. Yay! We'll come back to that later. If you ever want to redeem points for doodles, that's the way to do it. Okay. Slowly yet surely we'll fill up that page. I need to like save that page someplace else because I couldn't find it again. I'm like, where did I save this stupid doodle page? Where is it? Couldn't find it for a while. I'm going to put it in a different place where I'm more likely to not forget it. And I know I also had like Asgore is like a druid kind of thing, which is cool, but now I'm kind of being like, well, his whole thing is that he has like superhero comics. Like Alfie's comments on like all these superhero comics he lets her borrow. I'm like, what if he shows up as like a superhero? Because that's what he wants to be. That's his fantasy. Especially if he does actually show up in chapter 3, like you know, you could easily do like a superhero kind of thing going on there. And he's got his little tights and a cape. The divorced superhero ex-husband. He has all the powers of a husband and a divorce. And an egg. Yeah, I think a lot of people like default to druid for him because obviously he like likes plants and flowers and stuff, so that screams druid in a fantasy setting. But it doesn't have to be like RPG fantasy setting. Superheroes are also a fantasy. You could be a flower-themed superhero. Still gets to have a big cape like he is when he's a king in Undertale. Instead, it's a superhero cape. I don't see him as a Zorro kind of thing. I see him as more like trying to go for a Superman kind of thing. Like traditional cape and cowl. At least that's my guess usually when I first hear superhero. You think like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all that stuff. Yeah, Birdie ended up as a sci-fi space warrior. You can draw him as Zorro if you want. Nothing can stop you. Yeah. Well, he doesn't really have an axe. It's a halberd, isn't it? Get it? Halberd. Yeah, you would think if he's like a sci-fi hero that would be like kind of a, I don't know, ray gun space thing. But he's still like knight and glow in the dark armor, so he probably still had that kind of aspect to it. You go to Undertale hell, Homestuck. Oh no, Homestuck. Oh no. Why is Homestuck Undertale's hell? Whichever you want to do, you can draw what you want forever. Yeah, that was kind of what I did for Toriel for my Dark World design. It was kind of a blue mage kind of thing, but I was kind of more going with like a Queen of Quinn. Is that how you pronounce it from Final Fantasy IX? I don't know, I just think it'd be cool to emphasize like the teaching learning aspect, because she is a teacher in Deltarune. And she likes to teach. I don't know how you would do that with Deltarune's mechanics, so to speak, but it'd be cool aesthetically. I also kind of like the idea that she's like, you know, because she's also seen a dark world in her youth, she's like, what do you mean you don't understand the oh, sorry. Ugh. What do you mean you don't understand the element system yet, my child? Well, I'll have to teach you. It's quite simple. We've gotten these teases of like, oh, so and so is this and that element. We don't really know what it's used for. That's also first Blue Mage job quest. Poor Azzy. Go get slapped with a fish for an hour. Asriel's like, yeah, oh, okay. Not such a cool guy now. And then he gets arrested. Wah, wah. Oh, 14. It's like in the Kingdom Hearts Days game where Ozeus is like, you have to learn how to, you know, Roxas, you have to learn how to unlock, you know, your full potential if you're at low health. I'm gonna put you at low health, and he just socks Roxas in the face. Roxas is like, oh, I was like, there, now you're at low health. I'm Lysaeus, that's my contribution. Alright, might be almost time for me to do a stretch break here. In fact, I probably should do my stretch break and also get my orange juice. So, stretch break time. Boy. So I gotta go back and add the black spots with Ralsei as well. But first, stretch. Stretch. Ooh. Mm. Get going faster. I do definitely think that 100% Caddy and Jockington are going to get a Dark World appearance. Like, that's probably the one thing I'm most set on. I think that's definitely going to happen. And I think that could happen as soon as Chapter 4, honestly. If not Chapter 5, but actually, my guess is it's going to be Chapter 4. Excellent. In that case, you know, Caddy will probably be a black mage type of some sort. Use offensive spells, that kind of thing. Because that's what she wants. Cool gothic costume. Ooh. I do still kind of like the idea of Jockington being like the support for her, like magic staff or something like that. Although also, like, buff Jockington would be funny. But on the other hand, I keep coming back to, like, the fact that originally all of the Light World characters were going to be humans. And then they would become monsters in the Dark World. And I keep thinking, like, it would be extremely funny from that perspective of, like, you had previously seen Jockington as, like, but Jockington has no hands. You'd previously seen Jockington as, like, this, you know, typical, you know, human jock, you know, big muscle guy, but, you know, kind of a Kronk kind of guy, big sweetheart. And you're like, oh, what's he gonna look like in the Dark World? And then he shows up as just, like, a little snake, no arms or legs. The buffness is gone, but it's still him. Like, I feel like if Toby had kept with that, that would have been an amazing joke. Yeah, Summoner and Necromancer would be funny. And any kind of dark magic thing going on. Seems like she'd be good for that. So I think whatever that joke is might be lost on us now because Toby went with all of the characters being monsters in the Light World. But I can't help feeling like the reason why Jockington is like this big jock and also a snake is because of the original thought that he would be like a regular jock in the Light World and then in the Dark World would just have no arms or legs. But still be like his usual cheerful jock self. I don't know, I feel like that would have been a really good joke. And then he's still Caddy's support. Support Sneaky. Alright, be right back for a few more stretches and orange juice and all that. Yay! I returned! Yeah. Yeah, I feel like... I feel like people are really sleeping on the fact that Toby said they were originally all going to be human and would turn into monsters. I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of a big change. And that would have had some interesting dynamics to it. It would also make sense as to, like, you know, why she's physically threatening, you know, Chris, and then when we see her in the Dark World, she's like this big dragon. Even in the context of, like, you know, this society where, like, monsters are, they're in the light world, she seems to act, like, kind of differently. Like, the other monsters don't use their monster, like, features as something that's threatening, even if they are supposedly threatening. They're just people. They're just, you know, guys. I don't know, I just find it weird that Susie, like, kind of seems to have a weird relationship with being a monster. At least compared to everybody else. Yeah, she got more depth, obviously, very quickly in chapter 1. She is probably one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite, for Eldritchrune. That's also why I'm kind of inclined to not think that, like, oh, monsters in Eldritchrune are the same as they are in Undertale, because if originally they were just going to be people, then, like, there's no reason for them to have different, like, to change, oh, they have really different biology and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't seem like they really do. Like, they do a little bit, obviously. You can't really have, like, you know, ghosts or skeletons or slime monsters or elementals and not have that be at least somewhat different, but I feel like the setup for monsters in Undertale is specifically there so that you have an excuse of, like, why can't a little kid go through and, like, you know, kill dozens and dozens or hundreds of monsters with a stick? Because they're, like, that's the reason. Like, monsters were specifically made that way so that the gameplay and the story would work in Undertale, where you are just a human and a, you know, world of monsters, but even a kid can take them on. Whereas, that doesn't seem to be the case in Eldritchrune. So I'm not really inclined to believe that, like, oh, monsters are also made of magic and they will poof to dust immediately if they get hurt. Like, that's not really where the evidence goes. Hello, thank you for coming. Oh yeah, I think there's definitely, like, societal differences. I think the differences are societal, they're cultural, and there are some physiological differences, naturally, again, because some of them are, like, you know, skeletons or fireballs or whatever. But I think the differences between them are less than they are in Undertale, where there's, like, this profound physiological difference. But I would definitely say that there are, like, cultural and social differences, which is why they don't really live together. Yeah. It is kind of weird. And maybe that is just a holdover from when they were all humans, but, like, the Darkners are like, oh, you Lightners have souls. Oh, you Lightners have determination. You have blood? Like, Lancer knows what blood is, kind of. And knows that hurting people will create blood. So that they do seem to have this kind of human-centric focus. Many questions. Very gross and bad. He knows it's gross, at least. But Susie thinks it's cool. Lancer, do you think blood's cool? All the buckets of blood that's going to happen when I thrash you. Yep, perfectly sized hole for Chris to fall into. Blood is cool as long as it's not your blood. Lancer, go help boy. Was that a thing where people were like, oh, they're Darkner monsters and humans? I don't remember that. I guess again, even now people are still on the kind of Undertale mindset of, oh, monsters are physiologically different from humans, even though again, we don't really have much evidence towards that. Honestly, the only evidence we have towards that is the monster somewhere in Hometown who's like, does it hurt to be made of blood? That's pretty... Like, we don't know what kind of monster this is. But, you know, is it a bunny monster? Is it a slime monster? We don't know. How old are they? They know a human is there, and the human is weird. But, like, that's pretty much all we got. Okay, maybe it was more there and I just didn't notice. I guess the assumption is, oh, Darkners are just monsters and they should be human Darkners, but we know that Darkners are objects, so they're just based on objects. Humans are weird. That is true. Especially since, honestly, a lot of Darkners we've seen are, like, have human shapes, except for, like, you know, something different about their heads. They seem to have a lot of, like, you know, again, since they're based on objects, they have, like, object-shaped heads and stuff like that. But otherwise a humanoid body. Well, again, what does the library book say about them? It says that... Yeah, there is a library book that says, you know, how do you raise a human? Which is a guide for monsters, which again shows that there are distinct differences. But we don't know what it says because Chris shuts the book really fast. It's because it has pictures of humans in it, which Chris does not like. It definitely seems like at least monsters are kind of the more minority population. If there's not, you know, monster-specific shampoo, but instead she's using pet shampoo. Humans for dummies. Yeah, some humans could use that too, so... Okay. Which one is this? Yeah. I know! Chris, stop that! But I also do remember the other book in the library. Like, it doesn't seem to differentiate between monster or human souls. It just says souls. Let's see, is this one? This one? Oh, okay, this one. It's this one, so it's this one. Okay. Couldn't remember the thing. And I know they're hiding more info in the library. That big bird is hiding it. Stop hiding your sweet, sweet lore. Are they profiting? Where is the profit in this? I know we probably won't see this, but I really wish we could see some regular humans in the light world, just so we have a point of comparison for Chris. Also, just so we have more context for, like, okay, why are monsters, at least in this community, so separated out from the rest of, you know, society? If monsters and humans are not that different, at least not on a fundamental level, then why are they living separately? But Chris is fine, and everybody's like, yeah, it's fine they're here. We don't mind. You're just a weird little human. But Chris obviously does not like being human. Voice acting. Oh, I don't know if they're ever going to do that. Realistic Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You were all set on Woody theory. You should have been focused on The Rock theory. Dwayne The Rock Johnson will be in Deltarune. Surprise. No, it's just Jack Black is like, I'm here. I'm not anybody in particular. I'm just Jack Black. Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I don't think that's the case. But I hope that's not the case. I don't really like or buy into the, Gaster created hometown as part of his experiment thing. I would rather them just be, this is just the town and how it is. Yummy. I think Gaster definitely tapped into something and is doing something involving, the town and Chris, but I don't think he created the town itself. I don't think that hometown is a simulation. I wouldn't really want it to be. I feel like that. And I feel like you might lose something in that. Like, I feel like the whole point of hometown being the way it is that it's supposed to be this mundane reality in contrast to the fantastic fantasy of the Dark Worlds. So any way you're making, the light world like special or secret or whatever is kind of taking away from how it is supposed to be mundane. Like, heck, I think he was originally saying, like, Miyamoto, he was originally saying, like, in addition to, light world being, they were all humans, it was going to be, like, more desaturated, like, almost black and white compared to, like, bright colors for the Dark World. Yeah, I just don't think we need to do that for the, escapism sense. I think things are already interesting and cool enough with the light world being supposed to be the mundane one. I think there's something kind of interesting to be said that, from Chris's perspective, this is my regular boring world and I want to go to the special world. Whereas the thing controlling them is like, yeah, the special world is great, but I want to see the boring world too. I want to talk to everybody in the boring world and kind of like, I don't know, maybe point out to them, hey, there's something special and important in the mundane. You just have to have the perspective for it. And again, I feel like you might lose something about that if it's like, but also secretly the mundane world is also special. Because it doesn't really exist. I don't know, I think there's an important lesson in being like, if you look at it through different, perspective, what is mundane is also cool and interesting and beautiful. And you don't necessarily have to escape from that, much as you might feel like it. Exactly. You don't live in a town of monsters. But to Chris, that is what's normal. Maybe a little bit hard and heartbreaking, especially if the stuff with deaths happened and they feel responsible for it. Chris fall a long way down. Ah! No, please don't let Toby Fox beat Todd Howard. No. That's a bad ending. Chris is like, I'm gonna roll to escape from this bad ending. Ah. Forget every game being Stardew Valley or platformers. Every game is Skyrim. All the time. I haven't even played Skyrim when every game is Skyrim. I don't want to play Skyrim. I suppose sandbox games can be fun, but also, man, I know they're also a big distraction for completionists like me, where I'm like, I want to do everything. And there's always a 1% chance of booting up Skyrim instead. No escape. Anyways, my point is more people should remember that the characters were originally going to be humans. I feel like, again, that feels like a bombshell to me that nobody talks about. And I understand why Toby ditched that idea quickly, but I don't know, I feel like that's kind of important. Yeah, I imagine he'll probably keep putting on itch.io, I imagine, if he's going to be on Steam and stuff like that. Well, probably when I do my my replay. Why do you think he ditched that idea? Well, I think he said that he ditched it because this was, after he made Undertale, and he was like, he was afraid that people would be kind of weirded out if the characters they knew were humans. So he was like, I'll just keep them as monsters because that's what people are familiar with. To be fair, I think people would have been like blown away by it. Be like, whoa, that's the official human versions of them, whoa, kind of thing. But if he's trying to set up a certain expectation, which is like, oh, this is, I want you to have these memories of Undertale when you're playing Eldritchrune, and then for that reason I can understand why he decided to be like, no, I'll just keep them all as monsters. On that hand, I think the whole deal is that if he had kept that and that had been the case, then Chris would have been the only one that would not change to being a monster in the Dark World. I think that would be a mystery that needs solving along with whatever else is being solved. Yeah, I think again, the familiarity to Undertale and also the fact that Chris is human in a town of monsters helps emphasize the fact that they feel isolated and outcast. Which, like, you could still feel that, if they were a human, whole town of humans, but this just makes it even stronger. It makes it more apparent that they are singled out in the town. Yeah, that also makes sense. Less work for the team, not wanting to canonize a human version. So there's probably a number of reasons why they ditched that idea. But yeah, people do still seem to think like, oh, this is a sequel to Undertale, or this is a prequel to Undertale. This is somehow the same rules as Undertale. When he's like, this might have different rules. And he even mentioned like, hey, I'm glad that people are seeing Eldritchrune as different from, as its own thing from Undertale. Related, to be sure. Like, there's obviously connections. And those connections will probably become more apparent with time. But doesn't seem like it's the same universe playing by the same rules. Oh, thank you. Those are the scary monster designs. Or I guess also, yeah, human designs, but specifically for this universe. A lot of people seem to think it's the same universe. I think that was kind of part of the selling point. Because we saw this, a lot of people, including me when I first saw this, I'm like, Wait, is this like a sequel? They're on the surface? And then it's like, no, it couldn't be because Asriel's alive. Yeah, if they ever come up with a art book like they did for Undertale, I would love to see if they had concepts for it. But I don't even know if he drew them as humans, because it seems like he immediately went with like his earliest sketches were the versions we've seen today with, like, you know, Susie and Noelle and Rouse and all them as monsters. Yeah, it's something that I think is like kind of designed to immediately emotionally pique you into, oh, this is Undertale, and then you have to stop and think about it for a second and be like, okay, wait a minute, no, it's not. It doesn't quite line up, but you're almost fooled into it. Ads, be gone, ads. Be gone. It's darkness, 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 darkness. Yeah, oh my goodness. I really wish that... Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I really wish more people could have that experience of, like, when the first chapter dropped and it was like, what is this? Hey, Undyne, how's Alfie's? Oh, yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, this is not the same. Yeah, people who came in late, you didn't get to experience that weird sense where it's like, download this thing, we're calling it a survey program. Don't worry that your antivirus finds it suspicious, just put it on your computer. What is it? We're not going to tell you. Oh, here's the, terms of service. You accept everything that happens. Ominous? Sure, do it anyway. It was so freaky. Yeah, that's true. People still seem to kind of be of the mindset that, like, the weird route is the same as the No Mercy route, and it's like, no. Spam towards the distributor. Toby Fox, download this malware. All of us immediately, yes sir, Mr. Fox, sir. Exactly. This will be such cool malware. It's gonna break my computer in the coolest ways. Yeah, there was like a spoiler embargo for a while. I tried to adhere to it. But I also kind of got to it late because I think it released on Halloween. And I had to go to work and all that stuff. So I'm just like, oh, I gotta get through work so I can get home and do whatever the cool thing is that Toby posted. So I did that and then just like played it for 6 hours. Like, what is this? This is just a game? Because, yeah, it was absolutely sold as, like, this is just a cool survey you can take. That was an extremely cool way to release it, though. I am glad I got to experience that when it happened. And I hope that little, like, aspect that of how it was released and in what fashion is not lost to time. Oh, I think at the time I had a Mac, so I was probably like, oh, I probably won't get whatever virus this is anyway. Yeah, getting hacked's not fun. And speaking of, I think I need to take a quick little stretch break here. But in my drawing, I am working on this comic for Eldritchrune, this Eldritchrune AU. I'm trying to get it all done. This is the Jevil boss battle, so facing down against Jevil. Why is there a weird Metaton in a creepy area? Oh yeah, I guess like it's a little confusing. Like when you first see Chris like in the dark one, it's like, whoa, wait, they look different. The same person? They're blue. I'm blue now. That's my attack. Stretchy, stretchy. That's not fun. Oh, good grief, Hotmail. I remember the days of Hotmail. Man, I was just at work being like, I gotta get home and see this weird thing. Also, I'm telling you, there's significance to it releasing on Halloween. Like, of all the days to be like, here, download my secret game. I feel like Halloween means something. What do you do on Halloween? You try and summon spirits. I don't know. I think that's significant. You could have picked any day. Oh, that super sucks. That super duper sucks. Right now I'm a stretch. Keep my stuff in shape. I barely check my Hotmail anymore either. That's how old I am. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. I'm like, I know you have a Discord now, so. I imagine you just got a different one. Oh, the snow outside's all fluffy and piled up on the tree. I love snow. Gotta go out to that thing. Oh yeah, I'm sure that it also added to the creepiness. Yeah, it's just like, okay, this is like Undertale, but it's also not. It was, I feel like the confusion on that part was intentional. I know a lot of people were like, is this Undertale too? When it first came out. And I had to be like, no, this is a different thing. But that is an assumption that a lot of people had, and I think some people still have, if they're not paying close attention to it anyway. I do wish that people kind of understood, like, hey, this is, again, there's obviously connections to Undertale. Undertale. But it's not the same universe. Alright, be right back for one more stretch or two. And I return to the stuff. And yeah, casual fans probably might not notice very much that you know, there's major differences and are still working off of what they remember from Undertale. But I do feel like, okay, if you are deep in the fandom and you've been involved in stuff at this point, you should definitely be able to recognize that these are not the same. Not the same universe. Again, definitely connections between them. Yeah, this is not a fun boss battle. Not for Chris, anyway. One would hope. Are any of the boss battles fun for Chris? Huh. I'm thinking, like, there are any boss battles they do not die to. And I'm like, I'll have to get back to you on that one. I don't quite know. I think they're just dealing with the horrors, a lot of the horrors. Yeah, I want to do my playthrough of chapters 1 and 2 soon. So, like, I hope I don't spend too much time on Jevil and Spanton. Maybe Sweet Captain Cakes, but the problem is Sweet Captain Cakes also create, like, discordant music that, you know, it's like horrible screeching wailing, and I don't know if that's fun. Because, like, is there a boss battle where I can sit around and not have to do anything and maybe relax a bit? Have some chocolate? Is there a boss battle made of chocolate and then I can eat that? Are the Sweet Captain Cakes in fact made of cake? They are not. They are made of discordant music. I don't know, maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe they will encounter a boss battle where they're like, hey, that wasn't so bad. That was kind of neat, actually. I'm just not sure what that would be yet. Oh, I beat Yasmat from FF12. It took me a very long time. I was in a state of, like, I have a lot of time on my hands and I desperately need a distraction from crud that's happening. I'm gonna go fight Yasmat. And that took, I'm not sure how many hours it took. Yeah, the problem with Yasmat is it has like 50 million HP. So you have to keep, like, fighting it, take a break, come back to it. It literally lets you run out and save and then come back to the boss battle. Which will have its health down because it's just got so much health. I had way more time when I was younger, so I'm like, I'm going to do all of the biggest hunts in FF12. And, like, Yasmat's one of the last ones. Imagine Mysterious Figure. Maybe that's the easiest boss battle, because they just give you an egg. How would Chris cheese young Xehanort compare to Terra? I don't know. I don't know if Chris would be as easy to manipulate as Terra is, because at least Terra had, like, you know, he had some advantages against him. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Here comes a big guy. Not sure what was my hardest Kingdom Hearts boss. Honestly, like Roxas and Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix was kind of terrifying. Also, that one secret boss from Birth by Sleep, good grief. Who was probably a Xehanort of some kind. Yep. I don't know, at least Kingdom Hearts 1 Sephiroth was pretty infamous. It was one of the super bosses. And at least, like, the secret, he's kind of a side boss, so you can miss him. Whereas other bosses, it's like, oh, you have to go do that one. Okay, that is young Xehanort. Okay. I had forgotten. I'm like, that's a Xehanort. I still don't remember which one. But, oof. I think I beat him only once, and that was with Ven. Or was it Aqua? I'm pretty sure it was with Ven, actually. Because Ven had some move that helped with some of his nastiest tricks, and also Ven is the fastest. I don't think I ever beat him. Can't recall if I ever beat him with Terra, though. Because Terra's so slow. You have to, like, dodge a lot in that battle, so that's why Ven was good. Whereas Terra, I'm like, you turn like a river barge. Move faster, Pokey. Your defenses won't help you now. Move. Aqua's doing her little cartwheels all around. Yeah. Ven was fun to play as. I like the little speedy boy. Goodness gracious, that was difficult, yeah. I'm not trying to remember what other boss battles or secret boss battles in Birth by Sleep were there, aside from, like, I know that was like the really big one. Oh, there was also another Vanitas battle, I think. Stronger monsters indeed. I think there's a way to cheese the extra Vanitas battle where, like, if you get behind a certain rock, the collision isn't quite working right on that rock, so you can, like, it's like Sonic Blade him through the rock, but he's still trying to get you through the rock. So I think that was my cheesy way to get through that battle. Oh, that's right. There's Monstro, which I don't think I ever did that one. And Xehanort and Ericus's armors. Yeah, you can fight Ericus's armor. That's true. I just thought the coolest secret boss they added was Julius in 3D. Like, what a nice little deep cut there. Hello, thank you for coming to the stream. We are working on the Jevil boss battle and talking about boss battles. Yeah, Mysterious Figure was a big deal at the time. You do need to get caught up, especially since I'll hopefully have a new part done very soon. College does keep you busy. I haven't come out with that many new parts because I've just also been busy trying to get these guys done. Plus, I got distracted for a while by the Gerson and Alvin comic, but we're getting pretty close to finishing this one. If it doesn't get finished this week, it will next week. Okay. Oh, please read the Garrison one. I worked very hard on it. There's a lot of colors in it. I worked hard. Oh yeah, good grief. I have to do so much XP stuff for getting Ultimate Weapon. All dark blocking, huh? Interesting. I don't think I've ever even beaten Sephiroth in any game I've played. Any Kingdom Hearts game. I can't recall. I definitely tried lots of stuff. Maybe I did for Kingdom Hearts 1. I feel like the only Kingdom Hearts game I managed to platinum was Chain of Memories, or Re-Chain of Memories on the PS2. This is an art stream. You can do a doodle request now if you want to. Like, this is an art stream. That is what is happening right now. This is not a game. This is an art. Also, keep in mind when I say request, they look like this. Yeah, come here. I said, come here. They look like this. They're just like little guys. They're just little doodle page things. Quick little guys. And I can do in like 30 seconds or so. Again, these are going to happen in like 30-second little doodles. And if I can't do it from memory, you're going to need to give me a reference. It is okay to do a reference, but I need to get the reference. Okay. Ooh. Jevil, you are too large for this nonsense. All the secret bosses are actually just all the bosses in general are just extremely large. Big guys. Big knees, let's go with it. Okay. Take your time. Think it out. As you like. Come on, shoulder. Work with me here. Still getting shading down on like, are we on page 4? Not too shabby. Yes, I know there's a text right here, so I'm just kind of winging where all this stuff's gonna be. There will be text here. I'm in the core, straight up winging it, and when I say it, I mean my ding. That's the joke. No, this is not a wing. This is like a tent. Big circus tent. No, he's supposed to be like a big circus tent. And merry-go-round all at once. A scythe go round. Go round and round and hit you. Ah! It's all good. It's supposed to be kind of weird and nonsensical. And creepy as heck. I'm working on shading him a whole lot, though. There's a lot of him to go around and around and around. Might even say that the world is revolving. I say that. Make sure that's tucked into there. He's just a creepy mess. Ah, stop that. I said stop that. Give me the correct thing I want. Right, almost. Oh, wait, we gotta do his inside his mouth again. A darker color. Yeah. Can't find the zoom tool. I've got to figure out how I'm going to color his text bubbles. I'm guessing maybe like similar to Queen, but instead of the black and acid green, it's like black and purple. Something like that. Okay. Here's the creepies. On to eepies. Okay, on to 5. Yeah, we're making progress. Slow but sure like. Okay. Okay. Do that really quick. I assume like by spud you mean like a spud potato? Like potato spud? Yes, a potato. Okay. That should be simple. I want to fill that in with black later, but I forgot to do his eyes. Weird. Weird. That's weird. Jevil is ready for a fun time. Somebody will lose some body parts. That's what makes it extra fun. Not sure what my favorite secret boss is so far. I get the feeling that of the ones we've seen, I will probably end up liking a future secret boss more than Jevil or Spamton. At least for me personally. But of the two we've seen so far, I'm not sure. I guess probably Spamton. He certainly has more like backstory. And it's like, no! No mats for you. Although, man, when I first met Spamton in, like, actual game, I didn't ever get to the secret boss battle, so my only encounter with him was, like, in that alleyway, and I was like, oh, what a creepy, weird little guy. Why did this happen? It was so odd. And I never got to all the secret boss stuff. When I get to 3 and 4, I'm going to have to try and be really thorough. I feel like I always end up missing, like, the secret boss stuff. And then somebody has to tell me how to go and do it. Yeet. Okay. Let me see. Isn't the ref? Let me check. Alright, we'll do that super duper quick like. It's gonna be very weird with Susie looking next to them. Holding potato! Again, keep in mind this is very fast. These are like 30-second little guys. Potato! Oh, down a little bit. I just think they're neat. It's true, potatoes are neat. I like potatoes anyway. Hard not to. Weird little feathery guys. There we go. Ah! It's a little larger than usual, but still. Potato! And there we have it. Susie's like, Chris, what the hell is this potato? No, thank you. I will post that kind of thing once I finish the page, so if you want that page to be done, make sure and turn in your points for the requests. And add to the page, and then the page will be done. We'll do one page at a time. Like, I can't even call it a potato. I'll just keep calling it a potato every time. I don't know why. There's just something more charming about, like, saying potato. I can screenshot it at some point. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just charming to say potato, even though that's not what it is. It sounds cuter. Like a potato, that's serious business, but a potato, that's silly. Or yeah, like potato chips. A spot of merriment in the darkness of True Lab. And also everybody wants potato chips. I guys forgot to fill in that spot right here. Ugh. Well, that's supposed to be filled in. Where's my thingy? There it is. Jevil is having a grand old time. Chris, less so. Spaghettos. Popay spuds. I don't know how you would combine those two. I wonder what the origin of spud as a synonym for potato came from. Gotta be something there for why it's that way. It makes sense of things like taters and stuff like that, because that comes from potatoes. But where does spud come from? Or spud something that's more like intended for a whole potato family as opposed to just like potatoes. No, don't listen to AI over you, learn more. That sounds wrong and stupid. Yeah, potato spud. I find it hilarious now that in order to get around like AI nonsense, you have to like put the F word in your search. I tried it and it works. I'm like, how in the heck did that work? I was like looking up something, you know, innocuous or whatever, and I'm like, ugh, I hate this stupid AI thing. Wait, if you swear in your thing, like if you put in your search like, say, best time to plant tomatoes, then the first thing that's going to come up is all this AI nonsense that's going to be wrong. If you put in like awesome, thank you. But if you put in like best time to fucking plant tomatoes, it won't have the AI garbage. It'll just give you results. Why does that work? I don't know. I'd love to find out, but no, I tried it and I'm like, it works. The AI thing's gone. Maybe it has a no swearing policy. So now if you want a proper Google search, you're just going to have to say my thing with like fucking somewhere. Which that might make some searches even more difficult. I don't know. No, it works. It's weird. It works. There's also that other code you can put in that gets rid of AI searches. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But it's easy to remember that if you cuss in your search, it'll scare off the AI. Which is somehow appropriate, because that's how AI makes me feel. You have to sanitize this for all the shareholders so you can't cuss in your search. Yep. And I feel like, wait, they stole from us. Oh, it was fine when you were stealing from everybody else. But now as soon as somebody else steals from you, now it's a problem? Uh-huh. I don't know, dude. It sounds like you're just gonna have to adapt to the technology. Don't be such a Luddite. This technology won't work unless you steal it. Well, I guess you're just gonna have to accept that. Like, come on. Grifters shocked. They got grifted. No, I'm quite certain that DeepSeek is just another big corpo. They're just mad that it's not an American big corpo. Like, it's still big corpos. It's still not, like, good for, you know, regular people. The only thing that's good about it is it's pointing out that, like, yeah, you sunk like $1 billion, trillion, bajillion dollars into this for nothing. You idiots. Because this is the next big thing. Yeah, it is open source, but I'm sure there's somebody who's trying to make money off of that. But what they did prove is that, no, you don't need to sink $1 bajillion, manillion dollars into that. Is this on like a Wikipedia thing or like a little etymology journal? I guess the source matters in this case. But yeah, NVIDIA losing like $1 trillion. I'm like, you love to see it. Stole all our stuff and then it gets stolen from you. How's that foot taste? Okay, I do actually kind of trust Mental Floss. I've heard that they do pretty okay research on that, so that sounds reasonable. Please have actual experts doing it, kind of thing. Mental Floss. I don't know if they do a lot of news stuff, but they do kind of like, I guess more niche articles, stuff like that. Okay, I think I might need to take my last stretch break soon. Actually, maybe I can do a little more, then I'll do my stretch break. And we'll do one more session. And that'll be it for today's stream. I will have to get lunch and do other things. I mostly remember Mental Floss is the site that Internet Historian stole the cave story thing from. About who it is that did the cave exploration and then got stuck, and then they did a whole video about it, and they pretty much stole that article word for word from Mental Floss. They plagiarized it. It's like usually, you know, YouTube copyright takedowns or whatever are kind of done in bad faith, and this was like, no, this is the rare case it was actually done in good faith. No, yeah, I remember this from H. Bomber Guy's video, that basically there was like a really popular Internet Historian video that did like this full animation thing about this historical caving accident, and the animations and all that stuff were cool, but pretty much all of the text was like 90% plagiarized from this Mental Floss article. Like an insane amount of plagiarism. So like they tried to re-upload it, but like all the writing was still kind of changed. It didn't quite flow very well because the actual article was pretty well written. Anyways, I was never super big on Internet Historian, so I'm like, no love lost on that front. Especially with the whole like, oh, we're gonna gawk and laugh at everybody involved in DashCon when no, the reason why DashCon failed was not because it was a bunch of tweed Tumblr people being like, we know how to run a con. It was a good old-fashioned grifting. Alright, now I think I need to take my stretch break. We'll come back and finish this page up. With all this crazy stuff. Yeah, there's going to be so many effects-heavy stuff. I'm going to have to try and do a whole lot of motion blur. Motion blur. Everybody's favorite. Actually, I'm kind of wondering, is there like a... So I know I can do like straight-on motion blurs and like radial motion blurs. I kind of wonder if you can do like a circular, like spiral motion blur. I'm going to have to check. Okay. But meanwhile, stretchies. Oh, I think I need more water too. I'm almost out of water, yeah. Need more water. Yeah, I'll do one more stretch. And then one more session of this. And we will call it. Still getting through this much shading. Nothing to sneeze at. We still got to do all the backgrounds for the latter half of this comic. We're still in the first half here. More stretch. I'll take care of my wrist and get out into the snow soon while it's still fluffy. Although I imagine by the time I get to the park, people will have trod through most of it, so you don't get that cool walking through fresh snow, little powder crunch. That's the good stuff. When you walk through really fresh new snow, and it's like little crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, it's so nice. It's all nice and soft and powdery. That's the good stuff. All quiet. No, she has not encountered snow. And she should not encounter snow because that could be very dangerous. She is a desert lizard. She is I think it's under 60 degrees. She should not be under 60 degrees. That's when it starts getting dangerous. So, freezing, no good. With reptiles, like I'm sure there's like in the wild, those parts of Australia can get cold and snowy in the winter, but then usually what those reptiles do in the winter is like they brumate. They dig themselves a nice deep hole in the ground and just kind of hang out there all winter and just kind of stop moving until things warm up again. Then they're back out. Okay. Be right back for a few more stretches. back for our last session. Our last draw session for this stream. Yeah, speaking of that, I think I saw a funny Tumblr poster recently where it's like, you know, most animals, so that's going to be like, you know, reptiles, bugs, fish, all that are like, oh man, it's getting chilly out. I better stop moving until it warms up again. Whereas most mammals and birds are like, you have to stop moving when it's cold? Well, I generate my own body heat. I can keep going forever. I'm gonna run circles around you. Woohoo! I can't be stopped. And then other animals like reptiles are like, so what happens if your body temperature does get too cold? Most mammals and birds are like, we die! We're just dead. There are advantages to generating your own heat. And then there are disadvantages. One of those being that, you know, one, you have to eat all the time to keep the furnace going, basically. Whereas if you're, you know, reptile, fish, bug, you can go for a while without eating and you'll be okay. But mammals have to eat a lot more to stay warm. And yeah, if you get too cold, you're dead. That's true, that's true. But our range of acceptable temperatures, I would say, is more narrow than it is for a reptile or a bug or something like that. Like, always can be anywhere from, like, you know, 70 to 80 degrees, or even 90 degrees. Yeah, less narrow. I don't remember. Like, she can have a greater range of temperatures that she will function okay in. Whereas, you know, if we are out of the 98.6 or 7 range, even a little bit, we're in trouble. We start getting sick. Like if we go up even 2 degrees, that's considered a fever. And it's considered bad. Whereas if you go down 2 degrees, that's not good either. So like, we're in this very comfy zone. As long as we do not leave the zone on our own, we're great. Don't leave the temperature zone of good. Or the reptiles are like, I'm 5 degrees colder. Alright, I'll just not run as much. I better go bask a little bit and then, you know, take it easy the rest of the day. It's getting chilly. We're like, put on more layers! Eat more food! You must keep the furnace going, or it'll be bad. And again, it does have advantages. I can go out in the snow, and Alfie says, like, I cannot. That is outside my range, and I can do nothing to make myself warmer if I'm outside the range. To be fair, like, especially little kids, fevers are nothing to sneeze at. They can be pretty scary. Yep, exactly. They're like, well, Mom, I trust that you will be in a house that has heating for me, because I'm not supposed to be in Canada otherwise. Fevers are nothing to sneeze at, but indeed. I hate fevers. Ugh. think the last time I had a really bad fever was when I had COVID. Oh, I hated it. It was bad. Your brain turns to mush, and all you can sit there is thinking like, okay, any minute now it's gonna break. Any minute now it's gonna break. Come on. Come on, any minute now it's gonna break. This is a break, please. Yeah, having COVID sucked really bad. I do not want that again, ever. It felt awful. I get all my vaccinations. Keep up to date with it. No more of that nonsense. Awful, awful, yuck. Vitamin C certainly can help. Well, I think vitamin C is a little bit better if it's preventative rather than deployed. Like, I know they have, remember, like, those big, like, cold buster smoothies or whatever, where it's, like, 3,000% vitamin C. The problem with those, like, more than 100% vitamin things is they do nothing. The whole 100% of your daily vitamin C thing is because that is how much your body can absorb. If you have more than 100%, your body's like, I can't do anything with this, I'm just going to flush it. You need to have that daily, but... yeah, who knows? Ugh, just not again. So yeah, if something is pushing, like, 200% vitamin C, like, it doesn't do anything. It only works if you, like, if you're getting 100% vitamin C, that's great. But, getting more is not really going to help you, because your body can't actually use it. It has a maximum capacity. Chris is doing okay so far in that their limb, they have not yet lost a limb, but that won't last. It won't last long. I don't know if we'll get to that today. Probably not. Probably won't get to that today because this is my last session before I stop. A limb be gone. This is like, I was using that. That was my favorite limb. We've all got our favorite limbs, I imagine. Maybe not. Thank you. Again, I'm really hoping, if I'm lucky, we can finish it this week. Feel like we're getting close. Doing the character shading is one of the later stages, so just gotta do background stuff on the latter half, and then all the other shading things. Also, yeah, that's gonna take a while to do effects and stuff on this one too. But again, if it's not this week, it'll be next week. I'm thinking, possibly, nope, of doing my playthrough of chapters 1 and 2 next weekend. Seeing if it's possible. I know I need to do them soon before whenever we get chapters 3 and 4. But maybe. If it all works out in my favor, we can do the replay next weekend. And if I do that, I'm not going to use my usual streaming setup with, like, the chat and my avatar and all that stuff. It'll just be the game, because I also kind of want to save footage for if I ever do a video that I need footage for. So it'll just be game footage. Yep, just the full screen experience. Just in case I do want extra footage for other things, I would like to do that without the chat overlay and all that stuff. I do like having the chat overlay. It's very fun. I like having the little PNG tuber. Again, I mostly would just be doing it because I want footage I can use elsewhere. Just in case I ever do that predictions video. Might depend on when we get a trailer. I think I'd have to learn how to use my left hand first to become left hand dominant. I can't really do much with my left hand. So that would be kind of terrifying. I'd be ending up like Chris in this scenario. Not a good place to be. I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask somebody who lost the use of their dominant hand. Probably with time you would learn to use your other hand, but that's a little hard to do right out the gate. Takes some practice. I know, my left-handed drawings look really bad. I'm extremely one-handed. My left-handed drawings are a mess. I kind of think they're ambidextrous. I think they're right-handed. It seems like they pull their sword out with their right hand, but then they also use the shield with their left. I'm pretty sure they are whatever hand looks good sprited from a certain angle. It would be useful to be ambidextrous, that's true. Certainly, maybe I would have less wrist problems if I could use both my right and left hand equally. But, ugh, it's so hard. Yeah, they're sprite ambidextrous. They are what they are. Whatever position looks good for the sprite. Okay. It's really funny, but both my parents are left-handed, but me and all of my siblings are right-handed. So if there's anything to take from that, it's handedness is not genetic. The artist benefit instead. The left-handedness cancel each other out? No. Man, it's not that long ago they were like, being left-handed is evil. Don't use your left hand. We're gonna punish you if you use your left hand. When it's like, it's just their left hand. It's just left-handedness. It's so silly. Society gets so silly sometimes. And dumb. I guess so. It's still dumb. It's just your hands. I'll be left behind by history. Wah, wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Let me put the shadows increase on that. Chris, don't do it. They're like, I can make that jump. Chris, you cannot make that jump. Not right now. Chris, there's no way I'll be disarmed. In this scenario, editor's note, Chris could not make that jump. They will need help on that factor later. I need levitation boots. Honestly, they should just not be taking on gods solo. Not at the tender age of 17. Despite what the RPGs tell you. That's true. I was picturing the song from Final Fantasy IX. You're not alone. You have the power of friendship and also horrible monsters to help you. Remember your power and teammates. Yes, that is a good song. I do miss 9. That was a fun game. I played that one a long time ago. Never did play 8 though. 8 has some good songs. Probably know most of the songs because I played Theater Rhythm a bunch back in the day. Which Theater Rhythm is fun. I don't know if I was super good at it, but I enjoyed playing it. They should do like a Theater Rhythm for Undertale Deltarune music. Or do we just gotta do everything ourselves? Alright. Good luck with the trash. Oh, Chris, are you gonna do something foolish again? I'm quite certain 14 has some extremely good music too. I mean, it's Final Fantasy. That's one of the things they tend to do pretty well is the music. Tend to get that correct, no matter what. Is it Danny Elfman? Maybe. I feel like Danny Elfman has another more distinct kind of style than that. We were talking about this the other day during our Lunar New Year potluck. Danny Elfman, Danny Elfman, Danny Elfman. It just sounds like Danny Elfman, Danny Elfman, Danny Elfman. Yeah, I know like a bunch of different games have, rhythm games have them, but I would just like a singular, dedicated rhythm game for Undertale Deltarune music. I'm not sure under what circumstances the rhythm game would be, if it's like, you know, just tapping or something more involved, but I don't know, I think that would be cool, and I'd be down with that. Because I've seen some really cool rhythm game stuff with Undertale music, for sure. Yeah, that would be up to Toby. Who knows? Maybe when he's done with Deltarune, he'll be like, sure, let's do a little, you know, rhythm game. That would be fun. I would be down with that. I'm sure plenty of people would buy that. I certainly would. Also, it depends on the music, because some music kind of lends itself better to rhythm games than others. Like, you know, Spear of Justice Core, probably great rhythm games. Obviously, you know, Death by Glamour, great for rhythm games. Megalovania, but I don't know how well, say, Fallen Down or Undertale would be for rhythm games. So you gotta choose good rhythm game. Yeah, bleh, can't talk. Now choose good songs for rhythm games. Might as well fill this in. Lighting is honestly pretty hard. I could probably stand to do some more practice for that if I ever practice again. Like, put it here too. Okay. Chris, don't do it. Yeah, even getting to page 6 out of 9, pretty good, pretty good. In terms of getting the shading done. I will finish you shading. Somehow. Hello, thank you for coming. I'm probably gonna be stopping soon. It's about 10 minutes before my stopping time. But we are making good progress with shading this particular part. Good grief, I feel like it was kind of choppy around here. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, doing stuff underwater is always tricky. Water does interesting things to light. I always love that kind of like dappled caustics on things that are underwater. Give me them pool room vibes. Oh nice, Secret of Evermore. That's still on my list of things to play. I'm sorry it's getting further away because now I'm like, I want to do a Kami. I have to do Outer Tail. I need to do my replay of Eldritchrune. Okay, this is this. Oh, next one's this. But eventually, we'll get to all these different games eventually. Glowing seaweed feels very Sky Children of Light. On the one hand, I can see Noelle taking swimming lessons. On the other hand, I imagine swimming would be kind of scary. Do they even have a pool in Hometown? I guess they have the lake. They'd have to learn how to swim in the lake. Which could or could not be safe. Depends. Well, again, does anywhere in Hometown have a pool? Maybe the Holidays have one. Because they're obviously the wealthiest and we haven't seen their house yet. They gotta have their beach episode. But I don't know, maybe it's possible that if they're gonna learn to swim, they're gonna do it in the lake. Noelle is already a hero. She's one of the very special peoples. That's at least according to Gaster. Oh boy. These gosh darn spinny rounds. Instead of a merry-go-round, he's a scary-go-round. Yeah, sometimes you need a guide. I do miss the days of nice big printed guides you could look up. I still have a bunch of them on my bookshelf for like several Kingdom Hearts games and like Final Fantasy 12, I think. I have the guidebook for that. Maybe also 13. He is a scary go-round. I'm glad she got to shine in chapter 2. Hope she does that more. Yeah, like, if you get stuck, actually being able to, like, read a little guide to it, that's nice. I appreciate that. I know, it kind of rewards you for getting more invested into the game by having some things that are available in a guide if you check it out. I don't know, printed guides are kind of cool. I really like the ones I had. The Kingdom Hearts 2 one I got like the fancy edition one, had like a sticker book on it. So you could like put all these stickers when you like filled out certain quests or met certain characters and stuff like that. I'm like, heck yeah, sticker book! I think I got like the last special edition guide available too, and I'm like, yoink! At least at the store I went to. Now they say, let's look it up on YouTube. It's like, no, I want a cool and pretty book. I want something I can put on my bookshelf. And I can flip through it instead of having to be like, okay, I guess I gotta scrub through this YouTube video. I don't know, I'm probably just old man yells at cloud boomerang about video games and the kids today don't care. But I thought they were neat. I liked guidebooks. Oof, that's a bit of a pain in the butt. I would probably need a guide for that. That's the kind of thing I get super lost in. And again, I get super lost in like easy parts of games. Where am I going? Like, my sense of direction's okay in real life, but in video games, that's not a matter. A little shading down here. Alright, once we get this section done, probably gonna have to call it so I can get my stretchies and some lunch. And do a little outside time in the snow. Yeah, you've definitely seen me getting lost in Outer Wilds, where I'm like, where am I going? Huh? What? I blindly stumble my way around Dark Bramble or Brittle Hollow. Haven't I already been here? Yes, probably. Like, I'm pretty sure I got lost in, like, that one part of Stars in Time where it's, like, all the rooms got jumbled up in, like, Act 5. And I'm, like, going through the same 3 rooms over and over again, being like, which one goes where? Where is it? Yes, I do like me some maps. Yeah, that's also kind of why having a guide is nice, because then you can, like, have the map in your lap. I guess everybody's just, like, used to doing all that stuff online. You know what we did for real life back in the day? Before Google Maps or MapQuest? You had your Thomas guides. You had a big, giant book that was full of maps for, like, all the streets in your area. You would buy the Thomas guide for your area, and then if you didn't know where you're going, you break out the map. Break out the map book and figure out where you're going from the book. Big old hefty guides. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I found my sense of direction is okay in real life. Like, times I've gotten lost, I can usually get myself unlost. But yes, there were map books back in the day. Okay, let's do the mouth real quick up here before I forget that. And then we will call it. Wait, no, this one, please. My sense of direction is awful everywhere. It's hard. It's kind of weird. It's weird. There have been times where I've gotten pretty turned around. Especially if it's someplace new. Don't know where I'm going. I can usually unstuck myself. Hopefully. Okay. Whew. Well, we're almost done with this page. So we almost got through 6 pages of this kind of stuff. So, yay, progress. We will keep working at it later this week. Again, I am crossing my fingers. If everything goes well, might finish this part by the end of the week. If not, it'll definitely be next week. We will see how it goes. Oh, I'll be so glad to get this one out and done. Progrifficent. That's a heck of a compound word. What does it mean? We don't know. But it sounds neat. I still gotta do my stretches. And then I'll get my lunches. Oh, but yeah. It's been pretty good and productive. Gotten a good amount of shading done on the characters, which is, again, one of our last stages for these comics. No dance classes for them in ER. No pirouetting. Sadly, no. You pirouette your legs right off. But this one will be done soon. And in the meanwhile, yeah, I appreciate you all coming here. I'll definitely do more Outer Wilds on Friday. And again, if things line up and my schedule works out for it, we might do my replay of Eldritchrune chapters 1 and 2 over next weekend. If not, maybe it'll be the weekend after that. So in the coming weekends, I want to try and do that, and that'll be a big, extra long special thing outside of my usual stream times. So I do want to make sure we do that. Yeah. Thanks so much for coming, guys. I super appreciate you being here. There will be more coming in the future on all fronts. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm gonna get lunch and then maybe do some stuff in the snow later. Alrighty, yeah, you guys take care of yourselves. Thanks again for hanging out with me here, and I'll see you all next time. Alrighty, I'll see you later.